I've identified so far is 2003, you bought the sales training company, ran it into the ground, and it's 2025 now. So we got some gaps to make up. But I'm assuming that the experience and lessons learned along the way of buying that company, running it into the ground, had led to your success between 2003 to, before you started speaking at sales kickoff meetings. So maybe walk me through a little bit about lessons learned, if my assumption's sort of correct, and what you did in the interim.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny. Back in 2003, my buddies, a lot of them were going out and getting their MBA. And they're like, Todd, you should go get your MBA. And I don't like going back to school didn't interest me at all. But buying a company, for me, when I look at all of the, not only had to be salesperson, but you had to do marketing, you had to do finance, you had to do product, you had to do all of those elements and put them together in a package, bring them to market. For me, it probably cost about as much as getting my MBA and how much cash I burned. And in the end, I feel like it did more for my career than an MBA would have, because being able to see all these organizations too, and being able to be trained in the facilitation stuff. And when I was able to go to one company and then really impart all of that, I was a completely different person in 2006 when I shut that down than I was in 2002 before I bought that thing. And that's the lesson for a lot of people that I tell when they tell me they're going to go out on their own. So I'll impart this quick little rant. All the time, people are calling me. They're like, Todd, you've done a lot, man. You've been really successful in building your company. Yeah, it looks like it, but man, it took me, to your point, 22 years to get it right. And the lesson number one is when somebody says they're going to go out on their own, I always say this. I say, look me in the eyes and tell me that for the next 6 months, you are going to say no to everything else. And this is something that somebody did to me. His name was Mike. After I resigned to go write my first book, he told me to look him in the eyes. And I was like, yeah, Mike, yeah, of course I'm going to. He's like, Todd, look me in the eyes. And I'm like, yeah, Mike, I'm going to say no to everything. And he went on to explain that, listen, if you really truly believe that this is something you want to do, you have to be all in, or you should be all out. That's number one. And number two is that if you invest 6 months in yourself and building your own organization, 6 months, you're going to know whether it succeeds or fails. But the bottom line is in 6 months, you are going to be more valuable to an organization than you are right now. Either way. So don't have one eye on, is that a good opportunity? Say no to everything. Thank goodness I did that. That even the first time when I bought that training company, people they needed salespeople. I'm like, a steady income and a medical plan would be nice. And again, then when I wrote the book, back in 2018, same exact thing, that within 2 weeks, I had an offer to be a CRO of a company that ended up exiting in 18 months and did really, really well. Thank goodness I said no to that. And again, if this wouldn't have worked, I'm telling you, every time you invest in yourself, you're going to be more valuable anyway. And that's kind of the lesson all the way back to 2003. I invested in myself. I was more valuable coming out of that, and the rest kind of takes care of itself.
Yeah, same thing. I learned this the hard way myself, and I tell anybody the same thing that's looking to go out and do something on their own is it's going to be harder than you think it's going to be, and it's going to take longer than what you think it's going to be. And if you think that you're going to turn around something and be profitable in a month, 3 months, no. And if you see that online or somebody talking about it, they're either lying or they're the exception. But for most everybody, whatever time frame you think is going to be longer and however hard you think it's going to be, even if you acknowledge it's going to be difficult, multiply that by 10. That's the space that you're choosing to play in now.
Exactly. And I would add that even now, so I've been doing this now this is my 8th year. It's still a roller coaster. I mean, it's still really hard to look beyond 4 or 5 months and know that you're still going to have revenue coming in. And that kind of is the one crazy part. All the other stuff is awesome. But it's constantly a roller coaster. I mean, so the book came out late 2018. 2019, I was like, I'm going to try this for a while. The book probably suck. I've never written a book. What do I know? And I'll go speak and I'll go teach and I'll go do some consulting for a while. Then I'll go get a job again. Well, it didn't turn out that way. 2019 was awesome. I was having so much fun delivering and all that. So end of 2019, beginning of 2020, I was like, I probably should be more intentional about what I'm doing. So I hired a coach to help me just kind of look at the business and go, how do you make this sustainable? Unfortunately, the beginning of 2020. Put together a plan, this is what I'm going to do. And then March of 2020 comes and just lights all of those plans on fire with COVID. And so again, you think you got it. And then all of a sudden the bottom drops out. And I'm like, gosh, nobody's going to hire a speaker again. Nobody's going to need a work. They're going to just holding on for dear life. That was the case in May, June, July of 2020. And then all of a sudden people are like, crap, we got to invest in our people. And then August, September, October went off the charts again. That's been this whole thing. It's just a roller coaster constantly. So if you're going to go out on your own, buckle up. But I'm telling you, at the beginning, all in or all out. Otherwise, you're probably going to be out.
If you enjoyed that clip, the full episode is available here. Go on, press it.